I actually have something I'd like everyone to see.
This is the story of Adaeze, a young woman who almost destroyed everything she had worked hard to build for years with what stated as a little secret she hid one at a time, till it almost destroyed her happy marriage. Adaeze was 26 years old and lived in Enugu. She was an event planner. She was very good at decorating halls for weddings, birthdays, and other celebrations. She could turn an empty room into a beautiful place that amazed everyone. Oh, and people loved Adaeze because she was friendly, hardworking, and always smiling. She looked like someone who had everything. But inside her heart, she carried a painful secret. You see, 5 years earlier, when Adaeze was 21, she fell deeply in love with a young man named Chidi. Chidi was the son of a mechanic. He was not rich, but he was kind, honest, and cared for her very much. And everyone who knew them believed they would get married one day. Chidi wanted to earn enough money before asking Adaeze's family for her hand in marriage, so he traveled to Port Harcourt to find work. Before he left, he promised he would come back for her. Then a terrible news arrived. There was an accident. Chidi died en road. At least, that's what people said. Adaeze was heartbroken. Because their relationship had been private, so very few people knew how much they loved each other. She cried alone and carried her pain quietly. Every day she missed him, but she slowly tried to move on with her life. There is this saying, pain that stays hidden inside the heart does not disappear easily. 2 years later, Adaeze met a man named Obinna. Obinna was a civil engineer from a respected family in Enugu. He was calm, patient, and kind. He treated Adaeze with respect and never rushed her. As time passed, he fell in love with her. When he was ready to marry her, he visited her parents with gifts and asked for her hand in marriage. Her family welcomed him warmly. Adaeze still missed Chidi sometimes, but she believed she could learn to love again. She said yes. Soon, both families prepared for a beautiful traditional wedding. The wedding day was full of music, dancing, food, and laughter. Friends and family came from many places to celebrate. Adaeze looked beautiful in her traditional clothes. Her parents were proud, and Obinna could not stop smiling. Everyone believed they would have a happy future together. But not everyone at the wedding was happy. Standing quietly, silently, near the edge of the celebration was Adaeze's cousin, Ife. You see, Ife had secretly loved Obinna before he met Adaeze. She never told anyone how she felt. Instead, she watched as Obinna fell in love with her cousin. She watched him ask for Adaeze's hand in marriage. She watched them get married. Instead of letting go, Ife allowed something called jealousy to grow inside her heart. There is another saying, jealousy grows stronger when we refuse to let it go. After the wedding, Adaeze and Ogive started their new life together. They rented a small apartment in Enugu. Obinna worked hard as an engineer, while Adaeze's event business became more successful every year. In the evenings, they ate dinner together, prayed together, laughed together, and encouraged each other. Little by little, Adaeze believed she had finally found peace. She loved Obinna in a quiet and steady way. She thought the painful days of her past were over. But sometimes the past returns when we least expect it.
If you are enjoying this story so far, take 1 second to leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. Now, let's see what happened next. About 18 months after their wedding, everything changed. One Tuesday evening, Adaeze received a phone call from a number she did not know. When she answered, a man asked, "Can I speak to Ada?" Only one person had ever called her by that tone before, Ada. Her heart started beating very fast. Then the man spoke again. It was Chidi. Adaeze could hardly breathe. She had believed he was dead for 5 years. With tears in his eyes, Chidi explained what had happened. The accident had happened, but he had survived. Another person had died, and people thought it was him. After the accident, Chidi lost his memory. He did not know his name or where he came from. A kind family found him and cared for him. Many years later, his memory slowly came back. As soon as he remembered Adaeze, he searched everywhere until he found her phone number. Adaeze was shocked. She had spent years crying over a man who was still alive. That night she could not sleep. She sat outside, looking at the moon, wondering what she should do. She loved Obinna, but seeing Chidi alive brought back feelings she thought had disappeared forever. She decided not to tell Obinna. She told herself she only wanted to meet Chidi once, so they could both say goodbye and move on. She believed it would be the end of the story. A few days later, they met at a quiet restaurant. When Adaeze saw Chidi walk through the door, tears filled her eyes. He looked older, but his kind smile was still the same. They talked for hours. Chidi told her everything that had happened after the accident. Adaeze told him about her new life and her marriage. When they left the restaurant, they promised it would be their last meeting. But it wasn't. After that day, Chidi called her again. Then they met again. Soon they were talking often. Adaeze kept telling herself they were only old friends catching up, but deep inside she knew it was becoming something more. The feelings she thought were done had begun to return. Every time she hid another phone call or another meeting from Obinna, the secret became bigger. There is an old saying, a small secret becomes a big problem when it is fed again and again. And Adaeze did not stop for a moment to think properly. While she was hiding the truth, someone else was watching. Her cousin Ify had never stopped being jealous. One day, a hairdresser told Ify that Adaeze had been seen eating dinner with another man. Instead of asking Adaeze about it, Ify became curious. She wanted proof. She quietly found out where the meetings happened. Then she got a photograph of Adaeze and Chidi sitting together at a restaurant. Ify smiled. She believed this was her chance, her moment finally to destroy Adaeze's marriage. And maybe, just maybe, there was this slight chance of her and Obinna being together. She decided to wait for the perfect moment. And that moment came on Adaeze and Obinna's second wedding anniversary. Friends and family gathered at their home to celebrate. There was food, music, laughter, and happiness. Obinna stood up to thank everyone for supporting their marriage. Just then, Ify slowly stood up. She held her phone in her hand. With a calm smile, she said she wanted to show everyone a special picture. Before anyone understood what was happening, the photo appeared on the screen. It showed Adaeze sitting across the table from another man. She was smiling. Her hand was resting on his hand.
Everyone looked at Adaeze. Then Obinna looked at her with confusion and pain. In a quiet voice, he asked, "Who is this man?" For a few seconds, no one spoke. The room was so quiet that people could hear their own breathing. Obinna looked at Adaeze. His face showed pain and confusion. He asked again, "Who is this man?" Adaeze knew she could not hide the truth anymore. With tears in her eyes, she told everyone the whole story. She explained that the man in the picture was Chidi, the man she had loved before she met Obinna. She told them how everyone believed Chidi had died in a road accident. Then she explained that he had survived but lost his memory. After many years, he finally remembered who he was and found her again. Adaeze admitted that she had met Chidi several times after he returned. She also admitted that she never told Obinna about any of it. When she finished speaking, no one knew what to say. Some people were shocked. Some were disappointed. Others simply felt sad. The happy celebration was over. One by one, the guests quietly left the house. The music stopped. The laughter disappeared. The home that had been full of joy became silent. Obinna did not shout. He did not argue. He slowly removed his wedding ring. Then he placed it on the table. Without saying another word, he walked out of the house. Adaeze stood there crying. She wanted to stop him, but she knew her secret had broken his trust. There is this saying, trust is easy to lose, but very hard to earn again. Over the next 3 months, Adaeze's life changed completely. Obinna moved in with her brother. He would not answer her phone calls or reply to her messages. Adaeze missed him every day. She also began to lose customers. People in the city started talking about what had happened. Some believed she had cheated on her husband. Others believed she should have told him the truth from the beginning. The gossip spread quickly. Chidi also felt terrible. When he saw how much pain his return had caused, he decided to leave Adaeze alone. He told her that he did not want to destroy her marriage. Then he quietly walked away from her life. Ife thought she had won. She believed Obinna would now notice her. But she was wrong. When Obinna learned that Ife had planned everything and embarrassed Adaeze in front of the whole family, he lost all respect for her. He did not want someone who enjoyed hurting other people. Instead of bringing him closer, Ife's actions pushed him farther away. There is also this old saying, if you dig a hole for someone else, be careful that you do not fall into it yourself. Soon, even family members stopped trusting Ife. She realized that hurting another person had not made her life better. Instead, it had left her lonely. Meanwhile, Adaeze spent many days thinking about everything that had happened. For the first time in years, she stopped running from her pain. She realized that keeping secrets had never protected her. It had only made the truth more painful when it finally came out. She understood that honesty might have been difficult in the beginning, but it will have caused far less damage than hiding the truth. Slowly, Adaeze began to change.
After 3 difficult months, Adaeze decided to visit her mother in the village. She needed peace. She needed time to think. Most of all, she needed to understand why everything had gone so wrong. Her mother welcomed her with a warm hug. She did not yell at her. She did not blame her. Instead, she listened carefully as Adaeze shared the whole story. When Adaeze finished, her mother gently held her hands. Then she said, "My daughter, a secret may seem like a safe place to hide, but if you keep it for too long, it becomes a heavy load that hurts your heart." Those words stayed in Adaeze's mind. For the first time, she understood that she had never truly accepted Chidi's loss. When she believed he had died, she buried her pain instead of facing it. So when he came back, all those old feelings returned. She realized that she had entered her marriage while still carrying sadness from the past. It was not fair to Obinna. It was not fair to herself. Adaeze knew she could not change the past, but she could choose to be honest. So she wrote Obinna a long letter. She did not make excuses. She did not blame anyone else. She admitted that she had made a mistake by keeping the truth from him. She told him how frightened she had been when Chidi returned. She explained that she had been afraid of losing her marriage if she told the truth. Then she wrote something very important. "I thought telling the truth would cost me everything," she wrote. "Now I know that hiding the truth costs even more." She did not ask Obinna to forgive her right away. She only asked if he would meet her one last time so she could tell him everything face to face. Weeks passed. There was no reply. Adaeze continued praying and trying to become a better person. Then, one quiet Sunday evening, someone knocked on her door. When she opened it, she saw Obinna standing there. He was calm. He carried no flowers. He gave no long speech. He simply looked into her eyes and asked one question. "Why didn't you trust me enough to tell me the truth?" Adaeze did not hide anymore. She answered honestly. "I was afraid," she said softly. "I thought you would leave me if I told you. I was trying to protect our marriage, but instead I hurt it." Obinna listened without interrupting. When she finished speaking, he nodded slowly. He said, "Thank you for finally telling me the whole truth." They did not become happy again that day. The pain was still there. The broken trust was still there. But something important had changed. For the first time since Chidi returned, there were no more secrets between them. There is an old saying, "A wound heals faster when it is cleaned," even though cleaning it hurt at first. That evening was not the end of their problems, but it was the first step towards healing. After that meeting, Adaeze and Obinna decided to take one small step at a time. They knew trust would not return overnight, so they chose to be patient. Together, they met with the pastor at their church for marriage counseling. Week after week, they talked honestly about their feelings. Adaeze told Obinna everything she had hidden inside her heart. She told him how much she had loved Chidi. She told him how painful it was to believe Chidi had died. She told him how confused she felt when Chidi suddenly returned. Most of all, she admitted that keeping the secret had been the biggest mistake of her life.
Obinna listened carefully. Then he shared his own feelings. He said that even before everything happened, he sometimes felt that part of Adaeze's heart was close to him. He had ignored that feeling because he loved her. Now he understood why he had felt that distance. As they kept talking and praying together, they slowly began to trust each other again. It was not easy. Some days were good, some days were difficult. But each honest conversation made their marriage a little stronger. There is this old saying, strong houses are built one brick at a time. Strong marriages are built the same way. Meanwhile, Ify had to face the results of her own actions. No one shouted at her. No one tried to get revenge. But people no longer trusted her. Family members stopped sharing their personal problems with her. Many gatherings took place without inviting her. Everyone had seen how she used another person's pain to hurt them. They understood that someone who enjoys destroying peace cannot easily be trusted. Little by little, Ify realized that jealousy had only brought sadness into her own life. She wished she had chosen kindness instead. 3 years after the wedding, Adaeze returned to the same family compound where she had once celebrated as a new bride. This time, things were different. She was no longer hiding any secrets. She no longer lived in fear. She had learned that honesty is difficult, but it brings peace. Obinna stood beside her. He held her hand not because everything had been perfect, but because they had chosen to rebuild their marriage with truth, patience, and forgiveness. Their family gathered for a small ceremony to celebrate the new beginning in their marriage. There were no loud drums, there was no grand celebration, only close family, quiet smiles, thankful hearts, and prayers for a better future. Adaeze looked at Obinna and smiled. This smile was different from the one she wore on her wedding day. Back then, she was hiding pain inside her heart. Now she had nothing left to hide. She was finally free. The elders have always said, the truth may be hard to speak, but it is always better than a beautiful lie. Adaeze's story reminds us that secrets can grow until they hurt the people we love the most. Honesty may be painful at first, but it gives us the chance to heal. Trust can be broken in a moment, but with love, patience, and truth, it can be built again. And remember this lesson, if you love someone, do not hide the truth from them. The truth may be heavy, but two people can carry it together. A lie may seem lighter, but sooner or later, it becomes too heavy for one person to hold. The end.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the end. Kindly like this video if you've enjoyed our story. Subscribe if you love stories like this with lessons to learn from. See you next time.